There's the return to its place door. See in here, there's it's gonna flip. Sorry. Unpainted new bracket, and the one that I kind of bent back into shape. All new pins, all new bushings. So much stuff. More stuff than there is room for. Alright. That's part of tomorrow's project. Okay, so here we have the drive shaft for the Avalanche. The truck that you just saw couldn't be driven. Well, I suppose you could put it into four-wheel drive and use the front wheels. But this is the rear drive shaft. So anyways, this end actually connects to the back. This is the front end. Got the slip yoke off. Got to get one more set. I had to take a break. I mentioned earlier, this is the spot right here. This chunk came off. It broke a piece. And the shard that is exactly that shape went in right here. This is the spot. So anyways, this is what I've been doing last couple hours. Fighting with this crap, getting these old things out. These are so... I gotta put gloves back on before I do anything, but I got the... all the little pins. Nasty old caps off the ends. And yeah, this back one was definitely bad. You can see there's brown rust in with the grease. These are the ones going in. I'm not endorsed. This is just the product that they sell. This is the exact same part, by the way. It's not a factory joint. I've replaced these already. This is what they look like. Anyways, yeah, so I still have to get this vise off of this. Off of this drive shaft. And I don't know, maybe I'll try some white grease or something to get that pulled back without damaging the drive shaft. That's the issue, is I could just yank this crap, but I would damage the drive shaft, and I'm not doing that. So find a solution that does not involve whacking chunks of metal off of my vise. And yeah, I'll get that out. I'll get that in there, and it should be pretty easy to get that one out, I would think. Dork around with that, beat it down. Getting them back in should be a lot easier than taking them out, I believe. With this method, setting it in here, and I've got another C-clamp that I'm going to use to close it up. This should go a lot more smoothly putting it on than taking it off, beating the shit out of it, because this thing didn't work right. Oh, excuse me, sorry. I don't have a gallbladder, so food and drink makes me gassy sometimes and burp air back up. Anyways, yeah, this part here was twisting this way with the torque of trying to squeeze it in, and it was finally getting it, but it didn't. I mean, it's all the stuff inside of it is made to be able to do that. There's cavities here for being able to fit these things in if you need to, and it had the means to do it, but this old thing just wasn't up to it. It kind of did it, but I ended up using the hammer. So I've got a dead blow, got a ball peen, the biggest goddamn wrench that you've ever seen. Well, maybe not. You might have seen a bigger wrench, depending on who you are. And an axe for extra weight, using the butt end of that a couple of times. And I had to use the hammer to pound this around. That was the problem. So yeah, anyways, this is the project, is to get the U-joints put into that. Putting it back onto the truck's going to be super simple. All I have to do is, once I get it back on, I put this slip yoke end up inside. There's really only one way it fits. And as soon as I have it up in there, I've got a piece of little, like about a foot wide, and it's about 8 feet long, which is enough to go underneath the drive shaft of thin plywood. And I'll set this on it, and I'll put that slip yoke up under the thing into the transmission, and then I'll set the other end down, jump up and put the truck into neutral, and then I can rotate the shaft with the transmission slightly till it matches up with the mating point at the rear end of the truck. And then it's a matter of just kind of pushing up into place. And on the GM ones, you can see that to do this one is both it requires a press for both ways, and on the tail end of it, the piece that hooks onto the actual rear end of the truck has bolt holes instead, and a half. It only goes to like this, and so you fit the end of the cap into there, and then the other half of it's got bolt holes, and you just bolt down a strap of metal that performs the function of this. And so when you take it on and put it off, you're unbolting 4 little bolts of 11 millimeters, and then you get those off, and then it's tap, 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 screwdriver pry, and the ploop, thing comes right off. Like, it is so freaking easy. I love that about GM trucks. It's the number one thing I love, is that when you have to do U-joints on a truck that does work, it's the easiest freaking thing to do, relatively speaking. Doing it on my green truck that you've seen me do some other stuff on the Ford, unfortunately, it is this two-way, needs a press on both of them, even on the one that goes on the back end, so you actually have to get the clamp and take it into the like the underneath of the truck and get it. You're just it's such a pain. So I'm glad that one's doing okay so far. Cross my fingers, knock on wood. I think that counts as wood. So anyways, yeah, that's where it is right now. And yeah, that's about it. Drinking out of one of many pataphoric jokes. Pataphor is like pataphysics is like it's a metaphysical discussion of something, but the points of reference require multiple mixed metaphors to convey the idea. That's a pataphor, basically. So what I've got here is a coffee cup that is basically split in half. It's cracked all over, chipped and broken, but it's holding together and keeping my coffee in it. And as just it happens, while we're making the brief history of time joke, little Stephen Hawking, little Doctor Who, because the whole thing with the coffee cup falling and then going back together. So anyways, this is me procrastinating it, but that's the thing I'm doing tonight. I did the door. I'm doing this tomorrow. I'm doing 2 oil changes on our trucks, and the front brake pads here for the Ford. Doing those tomorrow.